So my name is Alyssa. I'm an organic color systems mentor and I have been since 2017. I have also been a hairdresser for almost 20 years and I own a small salon in Denver, which is where we are today. I'll share with you some of my favorite combinations of organic color systems products for styling curly hair and show you how I approach styling curly hair. So for our look today, we are going to be using the Organic Color Systems Power Build shampoo to cleanse. And then we are going to do a treatment, which will be a combination of the Power Build cream treatment and the Power Build revamp. With that treatment, we will be using the Organic Color Systems Thermal Booster Cap, which everyone looks really amazing in, of course. When we are done with the shampoo and the treatment, we are going to be using the Organic Color Systems microfiber towel. This is very important, I'll talk about it later, for styling a little bit of the Power Build cream treatment again, as well as the Control Root Lift, and then a cocktail of the Aqua Boost Leave-In Conditioner with the Control Glaze. We will also be using some of these clips and a diffuser and a hooded dryer, so you want to make sure you have those. So I'm just waiting for my client to arrive. As soon as she does, we'll get started, and I can't wait to share all of this great information with you. Okay, this is Ariana, and as you can see, she has beautiful, beautiful curls. Her curl pattern is she definitely gets ringlets, quite a few ringlets, but it is not like a super tight coil. And her hair is pretty thick, but pretty fine too. So again, when you're working with curly hair, there are so many different textures of curly hair, and that is really going to direct how you style and what products you use. So this is very specific to her actual curl type and curl pattern. Okay, so we're over at the shampoo bowl, and we're gonna start out using the Power Build shampoo. You've just cleansed Ariana's curls, and now we are going to go in and do a treatment that is really just going to give a lot of protein back to the hair and really help to reform and restructure her curls. So what we're going to do is mix a good healthy portion of revamp all over her hair. And this is super important because if you think about it, hair is made of mostly protein. And so we really want to refeed that protein back into the hair, especially for curls. A lot of times we think of curls as needing moisture, which they do, obviously, but they actually need more protein than we realize a lot of times to help maintain the structure of the hair and therefore the structure of the curl. Lots and lots of revamp, as you can see. And then see how this is sudsing up. So I did squeegee the majority of the wetness out of her hair before I applied this. So you don't want it like super wet. And then once you apply it, you just kind of like work it in until it starts to suds up. Perfect. And now I'm going to take a healthy portion of the Power Build cream treatment. And I'm just gonna kind of slather that over everything. You can see I'm using quite a bit, but I want to make sure that her hair is fully encased in the cream treatment because we are going to put her underneath the thermal booster cap. So it's very important that we are protecting the hair that already has revamp on it with the with the Power Build cream treatment. So you never want to use the revamp with heat unless you have encased it with the Power Build cream treatment. Treatment is done processing, so I'm just going to give her a really thorough rinse. I want to get all that product out because, again, this is the combination of the cream treatment and the revamp. I'm just telling you this because in a minute we're going to put more cream treatment back in it because I do like to style with a little bit of the cream treatment still left in the hair. But since we have done a combination with the revamp, I don't want the revamp in the hair anymore. I've just done a really good rinse on Ariana's hair, and now I have less of the cream treatment than I was using before, and I'm just going to work this in starting at her very ends, and then kind of working my way up. And once I've really worked it all the way over her mids and ends, I'm gonna start kind of raking my fingers through her hair. And this is gonna start breaking up her curls and helping her curl families really kind of lock back into place. Using my fingers almost as a really wide tooth comb. So I do want to, you know, pull out tangles. As we can see, we just ran into one here. So we'll kind of work our fingers through that, break it up. So I want to go in from the side, from the top, from underneath, again, just making sure, because we won't be doing any combing afterwards. So I want to make sure that I'm doing a thorough comb with my fingers at the shampoo bowl. And again, this is going to help not only get the tangles out, but you're going to start seeing her curl families kind of clump together, which you can already see kind of happening. And notice I am not working this into her scalp because I do want to have a little bit more lift at her scalp, so we're going to use the root lift in her hair when we style. So I don't want to weigh down her hair at the root. Ariana's hair can support this, but if you were, again, working with someone that had very fine, very thin hair, I would do this whole process, but instead I would use the Power Build conditioner instead of the cream treatment. But since Ariana's curls are like tighter than just a wave, then I can use the cream treatment on her mids and ends. I'm not really running into any more tangles, and it looks like her curls are clumping together pretty well there. You can kind of see. So now I'm just going to do like a squeeze and a scrunch. And I'm like scrunching that, the remainder of the cream treatment back into the hair. You can see her curls really starting to like come out there. So I'm going to use the Organic Color Systems microfiber towel, which I was talking about earlier. Let me just show you a close-up, if you will, of the texture of this, as opposed to the texture of a terry cloth towel. You can see there's much more texture in a terry cloth towel. So you don't want to use this because all of this little texture is going to get into those curls and break up those curl families. It's going to cause frizz. So I know it sounds silly, but it's very key that you're using a microfiber towel that doesn't have nearly as much texture, because that's going to keep the curls in place better. And so now I'm just going to literally like put the towel under her hair and kind of scrunch her curls into the towel to really release that extra moisture. But I don't want to do a lot of like shaking around of her hair because I want those curl families to stay together as much as possible. This is what Ariana's hair looks like freshly out of the towel. Like I said, I haven't like run my fingers through it or anything. Her bangs, obviously, I'm just going to kind of push those forward. I'm not as concerned about running my fingers through those because I'm going to be messing with those quite a bit later. But the rest of her hair, I want to be like kind of loose with how I don't want to like rake my fingers through it. I want to just kind of like place her curls loosely before I put product in. So kind of pulling it away from the ear and down again without like raking my fingers through. Now I'm going to go in with the Control Root Lift. And again, I'm literally like picking up curl families because I don't want to mess around with her hair too much and spraying it right in. And this is because for this particular style today, I just want a little more lift at her root. If your client doesn't want that extra lift and volume at the root, then you can skip this process completely. At least putting in the root lift. We're still going to clip it regardless. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with my little clips. And again, each little curl family I want to lift and clip, just to show you from a different angle so that you can see a little better. I'm lifting up the curl family and I'm just clipping this right in at the root. And what that's doing is that's going to lift her hair away from the scalp, and it's going to allow the heat and the air of the blow dryer to get into her scalp. And as you can see, it's obviously lifting it too, so it's going to maintain that lift as it dries so that you'll get more volume. But it really, really does help the hair to dry faster because you're kind of lifting everything away from the scalp and allowing that air to get in. I'm going to work into the rest of her hair a combination of the Aqua Boost leave-in conditioner. I'm gonna put a healthy amount of that in my hand. And then I'm going to cocktail that with the Control Glaze and a couple pumps of that. So cocktail that up really nicely. And now I'm just going to very gently lift and scrunch. Spin her around. And again, I'm just gonna kind of work that into her bangs. Okay, so I've really kind of placed Ariana's bangs exactly how I want them, and I've put some clips in. But key here, the clips do not touch this top layer. All of that is out of the clip. As you can see, I can pull it up and move it away from the edges of the clips. So it's creating lift underneath, but it's not creating any sort of clamp marks in the hair. So that's super key. And then just really placing her bangs exactly how I want them to lay. And then we're gonna put her under the hooded dryer. Ariana is sitting under the hooded dryer. And so obviously the hooded dryer is really gonna focus on drying, diffusing, because we have the clips in. So the hooded dryer is basically like a diffuser as well. But instead of killing our arms trying to diffuse all of the top, we're just gonna let the hooded dryer do that for us. Her clips have her hair in place where we want it to stay. She's sitting nice and still, so nothing's moving. Ariana is done under the hooded dryer. Just to give you an idea, that was about 20 minutes that she sat under the dryer. So it's super important that you wanna make sure that the hair is fully dry before you start going and messing with it, because if you start messing with it before it's fully dry, it's gonna be frizzy. So, and that is obviously what we're trying to avoid. So now I'm gonna spin her around. She's really dry on her scalp, but now we're gonna address this lower, mid and lower section, and I'm gonna do that with a diffuser. I was diffusing and I got her mostly dry. Now I'm just gonna take out her clips. Just being really careful, trying not to disturb her curl pattern very much as I do that. Actually lift the curl and then pull the clip out so that I'm not just pulling the clip through her hair and breaking up that curl pattern. Now I have had Ariana scoot out down in her chair, and she's resting the nape of her head on the back of the chair here. Her hair, remember, is almost dry, but I'm just gonna go in and finalize. I've taken all those clips out, and now that the clips are out and this is completely dry, I can kind of move around a little bit more up there and kind of break up those little clip marks at her scalp. And then I'm gonna also do a little more drying because she's still a little wet inside here. Normally with curly hair, I would not run my fingers through it and do as much of this, but since it's just her bangs and I'm gonna be kind of placing everything, I don't mind as much because I want to break up any of those remaining clip marks in there. For her last little piecing out and placement, I'm going to use the Control Texture and just a tiny bit of it. And I really want to just have a little bit on the tips of my fingers so that I can just kind of piece out the ends here.